Hello, let's go Picken. It's time for another weekly wealth insight. So this one's a really interesting one, and I often, the whole idea behind the wealth insights is to be in the wealth space. And what I find fascinating, sometimes people say to me, "Oh, Scott, why do you make these videos? It's got nothing to do with investing, etc." And actually, what I'm about to share with you and why I do the wealth insights is it's the lessons and the journeys that I go on as I endeavor to get wealthier, and whatever wealthier means to you, because it's not only about money. Wealthy life is a far broader perspective on that. So I've had a very tough couple of weeks, and it's funny how the universe works. And often it's in our toughest times that we get sent the greatest gifts, the greatest lessons in terms of that process. And it was a person who I hardly know out of Plettenberg Bay who literally put me in contact with this thing called the 4 attachment styles. And what's interesting is that when I share the video with you and when you look at it, and I'm about to show you here, it's sort of, people think, oh, but it's just about kind of relationships and who you're in love with or what your kind of romantic relationships are like. But that's not actually the truth, because your most important relationship in the entire world is with yourself. And what's really interesting, when you look at your attachment styles, then it's going to determine the relationship you have with yourself. And this has been like, I don't know how to explain it to you. It's like I've been walking around without glasses, like completely blind for 47 years. And now someone's giving me glasses and like it's all made sense. And I'm not going to lie, like I actually get quite angry, like why I learned crap like geography and history at school when I could have learned this. Like just imagine how different life could have been if I'd understood this. Because it's probably cost me tens of millions of dollars in failed relationships, both personal and business. And obviously 25, 30 years of heartache. Like it's just ridiculous. But yet I've learned it. And now I've learned it, I want to share it with you. And so just quickly, what's really important, this lady here is amazing. I'd highly, highly recommend that you go and watch this, and it's the 4 attachment styles. I'll put the link below in the YouTube video. And what's also really interesting is she's got a podcast. Oh, just by the way, the test, so there's a test to choose your attachment style is below. So if you go to YouTube, watch it, and then the attachment style, like if you click on it, it basically brings up your attachment style. And then I actually really enjoy her podcast. So she's got like 400 podcasts. But you can literally go like all of this stuff, and it's just amazing. Like I really enjoy them, 10 to 15 minutes. My ADHD would work perfect for me because I can kind of get them sorted. You're going to learn about these different relationships, and you've got this podcast that I was sharing with you, and it's absolutely fascinating because with my ADHD, you can literally go through this and learn. Now, I'll be honest with you, I was so interested in what this lady was teaching that I actually went and paid for the university. She calls it PDS, Personal Development School. It costs $63 a month. And like I've been doing all these courses because there's just like a phenomenal amount of courses and stuff that you can do. So it's really, really, really interesting. And then there's all this, those are the programs, these are the courses, and like it's everything back from parenting to overcoming anxiety to codependency to absolutely everything about your personal development, which I just been blown away by. Now, what relevance does this have to the wealth insight? Well, in the course that I'm doing on learning about your needs and self-love, because I've realized that I've got a lot of childhood wounding and things that I need to work on and repair. And I've always been out there like trying to take over the world, and I've done personal development for 25 years, and I've done therapy and coaching and you name it, but it's all been external. And, I actually haven't done nearly enough work internally and building the relationship with my little 6-year-old inside me that I call my playful lion. And what was fascinating in this course that I'm doing at the moment was something I never realized before, but the relationship you have with yourself is going to be mirrored by all the relationships that you got outside in your life, in all the major areas of your life. So your emotions, your relationships, your career, your finances, your friendships, et cetera, et cetera. There's 7 different areas to your life. And I found that fascinating because she made me do the self-audit on my relationship to myself in these different areas. And wherever you've got a weak relationship with yourself in that area, ultimately it has a big impact externally. So I'll give you an example. Your net worth is 100% tied to your self-worth. Now, some people will say, "Oh, Scott, you've gone esoterical and this has nothing to do with wealth." It has everything to do with wealth, because if you want to build a better relationship with yourself, then in the 7 areas of your life, then but you got to do it consciously. Your brain, only 2% of your decisions are made from your conscious brain, and 98% of decisions are made from your subconscious brain. So you need to do this consciously. You have to reprogram your subconscious mind if you want to change your reality in terms of what is happening in the world. And that's really, really important. And, there's two things that, and by the way, I've given you some tools already that I'm using literally right at the moment to literally go through that. And one of the things that I think is pretty cool is that if I go here, two things that I kind of wanted to finish with for you. And that is that, ironically, I had another coaching call today, which was all about the Enneagram. And again, learning about yourself. You can see I'm doing a lot of development around myself. But this lady basically reminded me that Albert Einstein said no problem can be solved with the same level of consciousness that created it. So whether it's your personal relationships, whether it's your business, whether it's your friendships, whether it's your health, whether it's your career, your emotions, or any other part of the 7 areas of your life, no problem is going to be solved without the same level of consciousness that created it. And so you need to reprogram, you need to change. And I found this absolutely fascinating. So I leave you with a little story. And if you didn't think I was crazy, now you can officially certify me as crazy. In December, I was invited to do what's called a vision quest. Now, it's a North American Indian tribe thing that they've been doing for centuries. And what it is, it's a rite of passage. And the men used to go up the hill and sit in the forest for 5 days. And in those 5 days, they would determine what their vision and their purpose was for life, and mainly how they could add value back to their community. And so I thought that's really awesome, because I've always been out there being super, super busy. And, my father always used to say, do your best. I was out there doing. And when I was in India, I learned it's no longer to do your best, it's to be your best. And I've done Wealth Insights on this before, where it's actually be, do, have. Most people want to have, and then they think they'll be, and then they'll do. So if I have money, I'll be happy, and then I'll do good things for other people. And it's completely the wrong way around. You have to be, and then you have, be the person you want to do the things that you need to do, and you'll have the things that you want. And so back to that whole concept, I've wanted for a long time to go and spend time with myself, but I'm always so busy, and I'm keep myself busy and work and, friends and relationships and, sports and everything in between. And so I'm forcing myself to go and do this vision quest, and it's 5 days. I go sit in the forest. We arrive on Friday. On Sunday this week, there's a ceremony, and then we go up the forest proverbially, and we're there for 4 nights and 5 days. And there's no food, there's no water, there's no human contact, and you sit in a room, 9 square meters. Not a room, you're in the forest, but an area about 9 square meters, and you got your prayer ties up. And the bottom line is you're there with yourself for 5 days. And how does this all come together, and why is this all relevant? Well, I'm going with the intention to build an extraordinary relationship with myself, with my inner child, and who I am as a person. And my fundamental belief is that I need to work on the areas where I haven't been kind to myself in my own personal relationship. And as Einstein says, if I can change the level of consciousness within, then I'll see the results on the outside. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoy these weekly Wealth Insights. I hope I give you lots of value. I would appreciate some energy and positive thoughts being sent back my way, because I've done some crazy things in my life. I've run with the bulls, I've climbed Kilimanjaro, I've run 3 comrades, but I've never sat on my own with myself for 5 days with no food or no water. And I don't know what I'm more scared of, no water for 5 days or sitting with myself for 5 days. But I have a very, very strong intuition that it's going to be an incredibly, incredibly tough 5 days, but a very enlightening 5 days. And so that's the journey I'm going on. I wanted to share it with you. I'll give you my feedback. There won't be a weekly Wealth Insight next Friday, because I'll still be up the mountain. But yeah, how's that relationship with yourself? I've given you some great resources. Click on them below. Go and figure out your attachment styles. It not only will have a massive impact on all your external relationships, but more importantly, what's the relationship like that you've got with yourself? And if you can work on that, then you can create the life that you want. Click on the link below. If you like it, subscribe to the channel. We try to bring these out every Friday. It's literally, I'm gifted with one of the greatest gifts of my life, which is that I learn and grow and meet incredible people all the time. And my weekly Wealth Insight is to share with you my learnings and my growth, so that you too can have them. And ultimately, we can all aspire to create the lives that we want in our lives. If you enjoy this, share it with your friends. But most importantly, no matter what, please listen to the message. that the relationship that you have with yourself is going to be ultimately mirrored and reflected in everything else you want with your life. And so start on the inside. I'm about to go and find out for myself. So hold thumbs. I'll let you know. Cheers.